Hey, welcome. Today, we are going to get into the logic behind conspiracy culture, but maybe not how you'd expect. We're going to really break down the thinking behind it and then explore a completely different way of seeing the world. All right, let's jump right in.
So I want to kick things off with a question that kind of flips the whole thing on its head. You've heard it a million times, right? Connect the dots to find the truth. But what if that very impulse, the need to draw these neat, clean lines between messy, complex events, what if that's actually the problem?
Because here's the central idea we're digging into today. A lot of what we call conspiracy thinking isn't just built on bad information. No, it's way deeper than that. It's built on a totally inverted, a totally backward understanding of cause and effect. It's connecting the dots, sure, but it's doing it in the wrong direction.
Okay, so check this out. This slide lays out two completely different ways of looking at the world. On the one hand, you've got the structural view. It says that for us to build a civilization, we start with a basic need, right? Food, water, shelter. That need makes us coordinate with each other, and out of that coordination, we create tools, things like governments, institutions, technology. But the inverted view, it starts at the finish line. It sees the tools, the tech, the institutions, and it assumes they came first, that they were created as part of some secret agenda to control everybody. It's the exact same evidence, just read completely backward.
You know, the philosopher Karl Popper totally called this decades ago. He basically said, this way of thinking is like a modern-day religion. We don't really believe in gods pulling the strings from Mount Olympus anymore, so we substitute them. We swap them out for a hidden they, these powerful, faceless groups who are the secret agents running the show.
So the big question is, if the logic is so fundamentally twisted, why is it so powerful? Why do these stories feel so true and so compelling to so many people? Well, that brings us to the power, the seduction of a really good story.
The psychology here is just wild. You've got researchers like Stefan Lewandowski who find that our emotions are just way more powerful than some spreadsheet full of data. And when we feel like we're losing control, as P.L. Lombardi points out, our brains go into overdrive trying to create patterns, any patterns, to make sense of the chaos. And then, bam, Thomas Gilovich's work on confirmation bias, the mother of all biases, kicks in. We start seeing only the pieces that fit the story we already want to believe.
And this is the absolute key. We have to understand that we are not dealing with analytic systems here. We are dealing with narrative machines. They're built for storytelling. That's their function. And that is exactly why they spread wider, deeper, and way faster than complicated, messy scientific facts. They are literally engineered to go viral.
All right, let's build on that, because this leads to a really powerful critique. Now, the argument here isn't that there aren't bad people in the world. Of course there are. The argument is that the real danger isn't some secret room full of evil masterminds. It's a widespread failure of a certain kind of thinking.
And yep, we're back to Popper. Why? Because this point is so critical. This way of thinking isn't some rebellious act. It's basically religion for people who think they're too smart for religion. It just takes the all-powerful God and replaces him with an all-powerful they. Then you throw in a thinker like Guy Debord on top of that. He said we live in a society of the spectacle. What does that mean? It means we are trained from birth to consume images and stories about reality instead of actually analyzing the messy, boring structures of power and money. In a conspiracy theory, it's the ultimate spectacle. It's a blockbuster movie with good guys and bad guys.
And this fits perfectly with Jacques Ellul's point about propaganda. He said its main job isn't even to lie to you. It's a kind of social technology. Its purpose is to integrate you, to slot you into a pre-made pattern of thinking that fits neatly into our super complex technological world. It makes you manageable. And all of this leads to Hannah Arendt's incredibly chilling observation. The greatest damage in the world doesn't come from some mustache-twirling villain. It comes from thoughtlessness. It's a mass way of thinking that just refuses to actually make contact with reality. They can't deal with things being complicated, so it just invents simple, satisfying bad guys out of systemic noise.
Okay, so we've taken the logic apart, we've deconstructed it, but just pointing out what's wrong with something, that's not a real solution, is it? If we're going to say no to this way of thinking, we have to replace it with something stronger, something more honest, and yeah, something more true.
And this better way. It starts with a really profound shift in how we see everything. It argues that the real root of the problem is this false, deep-seated belief we all have, that we are somehow separate from the world around us.
The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said it just perfectly. And this isn't just some nice, feel-good idea. It's a statement about how reality actually works. This idea that people are one thing and the system is some other thing, it's an illusion. We are not separate from the economy or the climate or the technology we build. We are a part of it all. We are it.
And the physicist David Bohm gives us the scientific version of this. He said that at its most fundamental level, reality is an unbroken wholeness. So that act of connecting the dots, a lot of the time, that's just our fragmented minds creating a fake, distorted picture. It's like looking at a reflection in a shattered mirror and thinking you're seeing the real thing.
So if our perception is fragmented, what do? It's not about giving up on patterns entirely. No way. It's about learning how to see the real, underlying patterns of our incredibly interconnected world.
This is the question from the brilliant systems thinker Gregory Bateson. He's telling us to stop projecting these simple, fake movie plots onto the world. Instead, he says we should start asking a much deeper, much harder question. What is the actual systemic pattern that connects all of this stuff together? Answering that takes humility. It takes a whole different kind of attention.
Now, there's a philosophical term for this, holism. It was first really defined by John Smuts, and it suggests that the default mode of the universe isn't chaos that needs a secret cabal to organize it. No, the default mode is the creation of integrated wholes. Things naturally come together. So conspiracy thinking, it's really a symptom of a mind that just can't grasp this basic truth about reality.
And as you can see here, this is not some fringe woo-woo idea. This integrated, holistic way of seeing the world is backed up by tons of different fields. From cognitive psychology explaining our biases, to network science explaining how ideas actually spread, all the way to political philosophy. They're all pointing to the same conclusion: we live in a deeply interconnected, systemic reality.
So let's end it with this thought. Holism doesn't mean anything is possible. It's actually the opposite. It means reality is one single continuous system. And because of that, our minds have a huge responsibility to be honest. Honest about scale, honest about what causes what, and honest about our own role in that system. Because when we fail to do that, that's when we start seeing faces in the clouds. That's when we start hallucinating secret agents behind the curtain. The real challenge isn't to find the secret plot, it's to see the whole real pattern.